Now I've been getting a couple of emails in saying, how do we write the essay of the 30-mark macroeconomic paper? How do we do the data response? And I've put up a little template on my blog as well of what my college has given me advice, but I just thought I'd do a video explaining how I tend to tackle these questions. Well, the first thing you do is you read the question twice. Make sure you understand the question. That is number one. The second thing is, I don't know how people like to time, but for a 30-mark question, leave 30 minutes. Okay, a mark per minute, that's the minimum you need. But remember, you have to do the other questions, so you can't just spend all your time on that. But I'd say at least leave 30 minutes, because that's how I do. Then the first 18 minutes, which equals 18 marks, is on analysis. So what is analysis? Well, how I rename analysis as theory, because analysis is basically all the theory you've learned in class and you try to connect it to the question. So whether it be, if you tighten interest rates, consumption will fall. If you loosen interest rates, consumption will decrease. Now we all know in reality it's not as easy as that, blah blah blah, but you're not mentioning that. For the first 18 marks you are doing pure theory. What is a theory? And the way I started off, because starting an essay I know is quite difficult, is I do a bulk of the first paragraph is just definitions. This is aggregate demand, this is aggregate supply. You read through the question and you'll see you get about 3 keywords roughly, I would say, when I do the questions. As one is aggregate demand, definitely. Supply they mention, but if it's not really, like for example, relevant to the question, don't bother defining it. If they mention, for example, I don't know, inflation or whatever they mention, just do a paragraph defining it. After you define it, see if you can do any diagram to it, because that's what I do. I always see, can I do a diagram? Usually you can aggregate demand, aggregate supply diagram. Draw that on, then do a quick explanation on the side. This is equilibrium A before, this equilibrium B afterwards. Real output has da da da, price level has da da da. And then from there you can take it in many different ways according to the questions. One of the ways I like to do is I like to then explain the effect of this movement between the AS or AD curve on the government's 4 macroeconomic objectives. So this is the government's macroeconomic objective, and this is what's happened to it after the shift. Blah 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 blah. Another way of taking it on is maybe saying, if it was, for example, supply side policies versus fiscal policy or monetary policy, you could say, define these what the policies are. The policies consist of this. How do they work theoretically? So tightening interest rates works because it means that mortgage repayment interest rates of capital go up, consumers have less disposable income, therefore consumption falls and aggregate demand falls. Whereas if we were to do blah 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 increased taxation, then again we are making a smaller income tax disposable income, but this time the government has more revenue. So I would just explain it. What have you learned? What is the theory? Okay, and you should do that in 18 minutes. And please, diagrams will get you quite a lot of marks, so use them. Then the following 12 marks is basically the evaluation. You need to do about 3 to 4 points, depending on how deep your evaluation is. You would know that from your own work. And do 3 to 4 points, 4 to be on the safe side. Actually, sometimes you need it if they're light points. So do 3 to 4 points. And the evaluation, I rename it as reality. So, for example, in your theory, you said that if we loosen interest rates, consumption will increase, aggregate demand will increase, there'll be inflationary effects, and real output will increase, blah, 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 blah. But then in evaluation, you've got to say consumer confidence and business confidence is low, then it's going to take a lot more than loosening interest rates to restore consumption. So you have to talk about those kind of effects, and you can even, you have to be careful with this, but you could even prioritize or give an opinion. So not an opinion, just prioritize. You could say we have limited funds, resources, blah blah, unlimited wants and problems to fulfill. But I think this is more important because blah blah blah. Don't say I think. This is more important because blah 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 blah, and justify. And basically, evaluation is anything you read in the news, anything you know, basically anything that kind of contradicts what you said in theory, but saying, oh, it might not even contradict. You could say, in reality, this has worked well, as we have seen that blah 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 blah. So that's how I tackle a 30-mark question. Split it, 80 minutes for what I call theory and 12 minutes for what I call reality. Hope this helps.